Welcome back to the Jersey Sports Show. This week we have a special guest as we break into the high school ranks for a rare opportunity. We're talking with Bill Gore, the outstanding boys soccer coach, assistant baseball coach at Gloucester Catholic down in South Jersey. And we are here to talk about something that he created over COVID, the Thank You Classic, which started as a baseball event. It's gone into some other sports. And the baseball side of it has grown to mammoth mega proportions in 2022. Welcome, Bill, and good to see you as always.
Good to see you as well. Thanks for having me.
Sure. So let's talk Thank You Classic. Really great thing that you came up with to thank first responders, other people kind of on the front lines during the COVID, the big part of the COVID when everything was shut down in 2020. You have a brother who's a state trooper.
Yes.
Right. So I'm sure that might have factored into the thinking a little bit, or at least kind of got you in that frame of mind. But tell us kind of the story behind the Thank You Classic, and we'll get into how that sort of has grown in the past year and a half.
Sure. So, like you said, during the lockdown, I was had nothing else better to do, so I went into thinking I wanted to start something anyway. I mean, as well as I do the talent of baseball that we have in this specific area down here between Burlington, Camden, Gloucester County, and I mean really just South Jersey in general. We have some talented baseball teams, programs, and players in general that something we could put together. I mean, there was already the Coaches versus Cancer, which is held down in Mainland.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to piggyback off of them. I mean, out of respect for them, when I first started thinking about it, I was like, listen, you pick your weekend, I'll pick mine, and we'll try and get in between the in between his and the Diamond Classic, which is the big tournament down here, the quote unquote ultimate South Jersey champ.
The state. What I love about South Jersey is, obviously baseball plays out to a state champ, but none of those schools, that's secondary. The Hartman, the Diamond Classic is primary goal for everybody down there.
Oh yeah. Well, we got to a point now that we can actually make the Diamond Classic a goal for people, because we're staying away from the state tournament. We give everybody a good 7 days before you start the state tournament, so you're not running into your first guy being pitched over the weekend for the Diamond, and you're using your number 3.
Everything. That's right. Back when I was covering and writing, and even up to relatively recently, it was concurrent. And coaches weren't using their top guys in the states. They were using.
No. I will never forget. I watched Washington Township pitch their best guy, and it's fine. I mean, they were a very good team that year. I think they were, if not number 1 in South Jersey, they were top 2 or 3. They go and win the Diamond Classic, and the next day they lose in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah,
they use their guy, and it happens. I mean, it's baseball, as well as I do.
And anyway, the beauty of South Jersey is how everybody is. I mean, all the schools are like on top of each other. You're playing your neighbors, your close friend, or close friends, except for during the games, and those games will mean more.
Oh yeah. So we did something interesting with it. So we went in between. Like you said, my big goal is to honor a first responder, whether it's police, EMTs, nurses, doctors, whatever, and then to add things, because I do work in the school, of course. We honor a teacher and or just a staff member in the school, each respective school in the event, and it's cool. I mean, a lot of schools last year had the people there. We offered, if you want to throw out the first pitch, throw out a first pitch. If not, we just want to honor you. It was cool. It was different. We were fortunate. This dog's
we let it run. We this is all part of the fun of the show.
I think she wants to go out real quick, so
maybe we'll take a little commercial break here.
Can we take a quick 2 minutes?
Take a short break.
I'll be right back.
All right. All right. We've taken care of our dog parenting duties here. So
I
let's
have
get
a
to,
6-month-old puppy, so
yeah.
yeah. But yeah, so we're in between the Coaches versus Cancer and the Diamond, and
Mhm.
what we have is we have a couple of umpire associations. Is we have a solid 3 in our area, and they're all working well with us. We have 2 umpires who we cover through the tournament, and then they out of their their pot that they have, they'll cover the 3rd umpire. And the reason why is we want to give them an opportunity to get used to the 3-man crew and let the
Mhm.
kids get used to it as well, because during regular season we have 2.
Yep.
So we want to give them an opportunity to have that practice, and just also just because our goal with this event is having a good matchup for each of the games and have a meaning to it, which I think we did last year and we'll do again this year. But last year we had 54 teams.
You said you were hoping for 8 at the start, right?
We wanted to start with 8. We
Yeah.
went from 8 to 16, and then it just blew up. And we went from as far north as St. Mary's, Rutherford,
Wow.
to as far south as Lower Cape May.
Wow. So that
So
really covers the entire state.
they covered the whole state. So we had 54 teams. For the most part, every game was a good game.
Mhm.
There was a couple games that got a little ugly, but it happens. I
Sure.
mean, it all depends on where you match up during the week, who you got scheduled, things
You
like
can have
that.
the most even teams matched up, and you play almost 30 games. You're going to have 20% of them are going to be awful games. It's just,
Right. So, like for example, I mean, we had Bishop Eustace play Don Bosco Prep, 2 top 5 teams in the state at that point.
yep.
They ran into a kid named Anthony Salameno. Kid threw a no-hitter.
Right.
It is what it is. I mean, and they ended up 10 running them, but I mean, we know how good Don Bosco is.
Yeah, and they proved how good they were later throughout the year. You know, it's
Exactly.
just,
I actually think my own personal opinion is I think that game helped them.
yeah, certainly a wake up.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, we're up to at this very moment, we are actually at 85 teams. Gotta find another team to play. But
Yeah.
we're up there. We're up there, and I really think because hopefully everything stays where it's at, and we're allowed to have out of state competition. I actually have one team out of state already interested in being in the event from Delaware, and then several teams from the Catholic League have shown interest, but haven't committed yet. And we're going to go from there. We do the weekend of April 29th to May 1st. Obviously, with 80 some odd teams, you're going to have to find some locations.
Some fields, yeah. So
Yeah.
how do you feel as this really was kind of came into your head and sort of built and kind of had the brain behind the idea to see something that you were would hope would have caught on, to go to just grow that quickly and get that sort of response. That's got to be
It's
a rewarding feeling.
it's very humbling. It's very
Yeah.
humbling. I mean, I had the amount of people who just came up to me and thanked me. Like I would sit there and watch a game, and people are like asking me, "Who are you? Who are you with? What team are you with?" I was like, "I'm just here watching a game. I kind of, made this tournament." And then they're like, "Oh, thank you so much. It's such a great, event and all this stuff." And it's like, and you, as you're doing it, and you're like, "Man, there's a lot of people who are like really impressed with this." I
Yeah.
mean, there were some crowds, because I made my way around. I mean, I was obviously at legendary Joe Barth Field for several games for good reason, but I made my way to 2 other locations, and I mean, there were some crowds, some games that were very hostile that were entertaining to watch, but it was cool. It was cool. And then at the end of the tournament, the last game, I was over at a mutual friend of ours, John Scanzano's facility, and they actually let me throw out the first pitch.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah.
they made a big deal about it. And I'm not somebody who wants to take all the credit in the world, but I
No.
appreciate it. And it was cool. It was very humbling to me, the amount of compliments and the respect. And in the long run, that was well worth I'm going to say 8 months of preparation of it.
Yeah, as you see, you're obviously with probably going to end up with close to 50 games, 100 teams maybe by the time it's done. I mean,
this just so you know, this is planning time.
This is matchup board, right? Sure.
Oh yeah.
You got to find the fields. You got to get the umpires and take care of 50 games in 3 days, right?
Oh yeah, and I have to say that I have to give a lot of credit to one specific man, because he's going to be a big help to me for that umpiring end of things, and that's John Galante from the Tri-State Elite Umpires.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to cover pretty much the whole tournament.
Wow.
So give him a ton of credit, and we make sure that they're honored, as well as the first responders for what they do for us.
And one of the neat things that you said was it's going beyond baseball now.
Yeah. So I have a person who helps me out with this event. His name's Zach Bates. He's very involved with Gloucester County Institute of Technology and a couple programs over there. He's got some connections. Specifically, he's involved with me with softball aspects of things, and the softball tournament's pretty, I'm going to say 95% a lock that it's going to happen, and it's going to be an actual tournament. We're looking at 16 teams. It's open to anybody in the state, even in the tri-state area if we get to that point. But it's actually going to be probably a double elimination tournament with a champion, and I really look forward to it. Have some people interested in lacrosse, and I think we're going to get a little event going for basketball this year, and then next year, I have a little interest in soccer at this moment, so we're gonna try and get a soccer event next fall in 2022.
Yeah, it's just I think it really represents what the best of what high school sports can and should be is just obviously beyond the games, a way to link the community too.
It's unbelievable, and to be honest with you, I mean, last year the connections of people who never met before. I mean, I had Eastern High School, which is a power down here in Group 4, play Manasquan, who's up in the Shore Conference. It's a Group 2, and now they're playing a regular season game against each other.
Oh wow, yeah, so that's great. You start something, yeah. That's
right. Like that's like the type of things that, like, besides the actual event, make it kind of cool that you introduce people to other people who they would never meet. No,
right. Now this pretty much automatically qualifies you to be an athletic director or master scheduler or anything, right? At any school in the state, right? I would imagine.
I get the sarcastic, when are you going to apply to be an athletic director comment a few times, especially at my own school that I work at, where a friend of mine who I've known since we were kids, he said, give me a little time before you take my job.
You can have it for now. Nobody wants that job, right? It's here with Bill Gore. We're talking about the Thank You Classic down in South Jersey. Started as a baseball event. It's grown into other sports, but certainly representing the best of high schools and the sports athletic program in the state. Bill is also the assistant coach at Gloucester Catholic baseball, nationally known, state known in our national powerhouse program with Dennis Barth as the head coach.
Yeah.
That's another program that's been I want to say a year-round commitment, but between that and the Brooklawn Legion program, again, multiple time world champions, perennial state powerhouse, most state champions of anybody in New Jersey. it really becomes it does become a year-round commitment to that too. How do you manage to balance that and the fall program there with the head soccer coach position?
I mean, Dennis is an awesome person, first and foremost. You and I both know that. He lets me do what I need to do, and I do what he needs me to do. I mean, like I told you before we started, I'm actually the guy who does his schedule for him. Dennis is a CPA, so he gets a little busy between January
Yeah, I was
and
gonna say
April 15th.
March and April might not be the best time.
Yeah, it's not a good time to talk to him.
No.
So scheduling is something he tries to avoid. I mean, I run everything by him. But he gives me the full string of things to run that. So with that, he lets me do what I want to do in the fall. And to be honest with you, it gives our school in Gloucester Catholic an opportunity to keep a program going and make the school atmosphere a strong, tight-knit family, which is what, ultimately what we want to do at Gloucester Catholic. I mean, people who know me, my most of my life is through West Effort, but since probably about 2009, Gloucester Catholic's family to me, and that's honest truth. I mean, when Dennis left and went to Rutgers, I wanted to go with him. It wasn't, feasible for me with my, own personal job, but, he and I have been friends since then. And, when he came back, he made the phone call and asked me to come back with him. It's like, yeah, I'm coming back with you.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just, the respect that he has for me, and obviously I've had for him well before I even know him personally, is, it just, goes there. And, we just do what we need to do to make things successful and keep running, the machine that we have. You have to give credit to, the rest of the coaches as well that we have, but Dennis does what he needs to do to make sure that Gloucester Catholic and Brooklawn are the best prepared team in the country, honestly. And he'll do whatever he needs to make sure that happens. He has a fall program going on right now. He's got 2 teams. 90% of that team is Gloucester Catholic. And there's a reason for that. And that's because we expect to be, not only a South Jersey contender, we want to win a state title in high school. And we have a real good chance at it. We have a good nucleus of kids coming back, and, God willing, everybody stays healthy and everything. We should be there in June.
Who's Gloucester Catholic playing in the Thank You Classic?
Hopefully St. Joe Metuchen, but that's a to be determined. We played this past year. We played Ocean City in a. I think it went 9 innings.
Always a great program.
Yeah, and I mean we went 9. Both teams have had tremendous pitching.
Mm-hmm.
Some big time plays were made on both ends to keep the game tied for as long as it did, and it just was a good game. And another game where, like I said, with it helped the team propel, go and finish the year as a state champ, which Ocean City had an opportunity to do. And I think that, I mean, Coach Bristol is a tremendous coach, tremendous person. Actually, another person who became very friendly with Coach Barth over this past year. And, it was because of this event. And we'll probably play them, if not in a regular season game, if not a scrimmage. I mean, who doesn't want to go to Ocean City?
Maybe not in March, but
not in March. No.
Late May game would be great.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Mac and Manco, or Manco, whatever it is now.
I always ask this question to our guys with the South Jersey connection. What makes the baseball down there so special? And special may not be the word that some of the people up here would use. But I do. And I mean that, and it's, a great thing, but in your mind being, through West Deptford, through Gloucester, through, your experiences with, Rutgers Camden, what makes South Jersey baseball so unique?
It's so tight between everybody. I mean, like, for example, in our Legion League, we have 5 teams, I think, that are within 2 miles of each other.
Yeah.
And I mean, several years ago, you remember this, we had the 3 transfer rule, and, we couldn't, we had our hands tied, and we questioned it, and we had other people asking us, what's the problem? You can't get people? I'm like, we're on top of each other. Like,
Right.
Literally, you need to come down and come see where these schools are.
You need
We're-
you need 4 transfers to get your neighbor to come play.
Right, exactly. I mean, like, for example, our base school at Brookline, Gloucester Catholic, I mean, we can't get a kid without at least two transfers, and they're at least a mile and a half away from us. I mean, it's crazy. But I mean, but it's the close knit communities, schools, things of that nature. I mean, some of the programs in baseball aren't as good as the others, but we still have the school rivalry, and it still comes over into those sports, which is fine, and it's fun, and it makes things interesting and stuff like that. But it's the overall close knit, very tight communities that we have in our area between Gloucester County, Camden County, Salem County, and going over and down the shore as well.
And quality programs in baseball is still priority.
Oh yeah. I mean, you have 3 parochial schools within 5 miles of each other. 2 that are within a good long toss away from each other.
Yeah.
It gets a little feisty.
You legitimately know everybody on the other roster, not just,
If you
don't just know their names, you know them.
If you don't know your name, if they don't know your name, there's something wrong.
For sure. So goal for this year, with the Thank You Classic that maybe you didn't get to accomplish in year one. What's something you'd like to, because when you have these events, you always want to take the previous year and add something. What are you thinking that you want to bring this year that maybe you didn't get the chance to?
Absolutely. I actually have one specific major goal is, obviously last year, and this is a good reason to have this conversation, is college coaches coming out to the games. I definitely have some connections to some pretty good coaching trees and whatnot, and some of the high level teams just couldn't come out, and it's just because of the rules. This year, hopefully, it's different.
Right. Yeah. No D1s were allowed on the road during the year last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the reason why we have 5 to 7 games at different locations, and we just want to give coaches an opportunity to go out and see these different teams, and we provide programs, rosters, the whole 9. We even have a website.
So that's got to be, I guess, that's got to be a consideration in scheduling. But since you mentioned it, get us to the website so people can bookmark it for more.
Oh, you're going to ask me a question I don't know.
Uh-oh.
Give me a minute.
What kind of marketing is this? You don't know your website?
Terrible. I'm a terrible salesman.
That's Zach's job, I guess.
That 100%. That's why he's there.
Well, next time we get Zach on the show.
Absolutely, he would love it. Oh man, it's gonna make me try and find this thing. Okay. It's an easy one. ThankYouClassic.com.
Oh. Could have guessed that without even looking. www.thankyouclassic.com. And I think something like this, it really is important to know the story behind it. Rather than just another good baseball matchup, that, there is something more substance wise.
And we have social media out the wazoo. We have Instagram,
Yeah.
Facebook, and a Twitter account for it. And we try to throughout the event, we'll have pictures of the game MVPs, if we can get pictures of the honorees and those people, we put them up. Even if it's pre-tournament, we do it that way as well. But yeah, I mean, that's all Zach, and I can't thank him enough for what he does for me, because after March 1st, I'm kind of busy with trying to hit a couple fungos and going to go see some games and things of that nature, between actually going to scout and then trying to find kids to play Brooklyn,
And maybe some time in the class too, right?
Yeah, I got to sit in the classroom for 6 hours, something like that.
That's right. But we appreciate the time, Bill Gore, one of the true good guys down in South Jersey, but also within the state, for all that you do, for seeing the Thank You Classic grow into such a great event. Supported in South Jersey, but also supported throughout the state.
Thank you.
Excellent. That's it for this week's show. Again, Bill Gore, representing the Thank You Classic, representing Gloucester Catholic, and we will definitely see you out at the field sometime soon.
Thanks a lot, man.